Okay, so boom, I finally get a real chance to show who I am out on this field, and to say I was excited would be an understatement because who would have thought I would be here, especially how everything started. It's funny because the way I'm getting this new role in college is the same way I got the role in high school. Not too much talent, I'm the only one who really knows the plays, and I pretty much stay to myself on campus. I really just be chilling in my dorm. This was about to be a nice little season for me, but I was not expecting how wild it was going to be really. Let's get right into it though. First game of the season, here I am starting. We pick up in the game on 2nd and 11. Coach calls a curl route for my guy, Caden, who picks up the first and a little more. The very next play is actually about to set the tone for how my season was going to go here in New Mexico. Quarterback keeper, and the line opens a hole wide enough for me to squeeze through, and I'm out of there for 55 yards and my first touchdown on the ground for the season. Not gonna hold you, I was super gassed and motivated by the opening drive for us. This was only just the beginning. Defense did what they could, and I'm back out on the field, 3rd and 13. Coach looking to me to make something shake as I buy some time. Lob went up to my running back, who comes down with it in stride for a 35-yard reception. 4th and 4 from the 19-yard line. I'm looking to keep the drive alive as I just take off for what we need before I get smacked. I know I need to start sliding, but we worked our way closer to the end zone, and on 3rd and 1, Coach sends everyone to the back of the end zone, and I walk in, putting us up a score. Coach was gambling on my playmaking ability, and I'm just glad I'm not turning the ball over. Now fast forward to the 3rd quarter, and the game is tied up, and here we are again, 3rd and 14. Coach is looking to me to make a miracle play as I scramble outright, throw across my body, and Luke makes a spectacular catch for 32 yards. Unfortunately, we leave with no points. Our defense gives up 3, and it's make or break time as the coach is looking to me to march down the field and either tie this game up or get us the lead. So I do what I know how to do best, and that's use my leg. This is just one of those high pressure situations where I don't know whether to trust what I'm seeing and pass it or keep it on the ground for a sure gain. But I'm noticing the more I scramble, the less room the defense has for mistakes because they have to follow me and the receivers, which can't be done 100% of the time. So I'm starting to take advantage of my situation. We're getting so close to scoring, I can taste it. And on this play, I'm looking to my left, not really seeing anything, and I barely get this first down to keep our hopes alive. Then the very next play haunts me to this day because coach calls the option play. I'm thinking keeping it, but this Michigan State defense somehow plays the best defense of their lives. As I pitch it, the ball gets deflected, and that's the game. We lose on my turnover after I had been playing so well. It all came down to me, and I blew it. Like I said, that game haunts me terribly, but one thing I learned in the Army and life in general is every L is a lesson. We definitely had to grow from this L. Game 2 against Minnesota, and I've learned a thing or two from last week's L. Main thing I learned is get this win by any means necessary, and I'm putting that on display as I start our drive off with a 21-yard rush. Next play, coach calls an option play, and it's a keeper as I make the right reads to get us a first and some. 3rd and 4, I break out and find Caden on a tight pass close to the sideline for 15. After 2 trash rushing calls from the coach, he finally trusts me with the ball from the 9-yard line as I find my way into the end zone, breaking the seal off this game. Defense gives up a score, and we're back out on the field. And one thing I learned from last game was the same trust coach has in me, I need to have it myself. When I see something or the defense is not giving me my looks, I gotta trust that I'm going to do the right thing. And that comes with a lot of maturity, not only within myself, but in my game as well. And to be fair, that can only come with reps and experience. Now, after that crazy 52-yard game on the ground, I break back out to my right this time and pick up 12 more yards. I'm starting to feel that confidence in myself on the next play, though. I decided to stay in the pocket and throw a steamer to my guy Everett for a 25-yard touchdown. That one was for all the critics who might think all I do is scramble. I definitely can place the ball if I need to. Back on the field, and in my opinion, defense holds us down, only giving up 3. And on 3rd and 5, I'm actually overlooking Caden for a quick 17-yard pickup. On 3rd and 10, defense sends a blitz, which means I'm taking off scrambling for 26 yards and getting out of bounds just in case I drop the ball. 1st and 10, right after that, my guy Jace gets open, and I sit in the pocket until the last second before I get drilled. Luckily, Jace gets us down to the 1-yard line where coach calls the option play, and I sneak right in for the tutty. Huge shout out to the defense because we get the ball back on the 3-yard line where you know it's a cakewalk right back into the end zone, putting us up by 10 late in this 3rd quarter. And that's how we won our first game of the season. I'm not going to lie, I was showing moments of greatness, and all I wanted to do was build off of that performance and try to string together more great wins like that. I won player of the game with 103 passing yards and 177 yards on the ground with 4 total touchdowns. This next game against Coastal Carolina was a very slow game for me. Whatever I just said about stringing great wins together went right out the window for this week. Shout out to the kicking team for getting us on the board late in the first half. Definitely need to bounce back on 3rd and 7 right before half. The playmaker in me comes to life finally as I see Caden streaking down the field. I throw one deep and he makes a spectacular catch again, gaining 47 yards on that play. And it's looking like we could put some more points on the board before half. On 2nd and 7, I scramble out left and get as close to the end zone before I get smacked out of bounds. From there, coach calls the option and I keeps it and I walk right into the end zone for another score. And just like that, we're down 4, but the momentum was already on our side as we come back from half looking to put more points on the board. I throw a shot to Luke for 24 yards to get us started. And just like that, we're in the red zone. Coach calls a keeper on the 9-yard line and I find the right gaps to score another touchdown, letting Coastal Carolina know we were done playing games with them. And Coastal Carolina was standing on that as well because they answered right back with a score of their own. And I wasn't looking to lose this game, so on 2nd and 6, I scramble and throw a deep ball to Luke, who makes another great catch for a huge pickup. 2nd and goal, coach calls a play action, and although I see a potential target, he gives up on the play, so I keep it and score what would be the game-winning tutty. Second win of the season, and it was a close one due to the fact that we came out sluggish. We're gonna have to figure this out sooner or later as we play better and better competition. Speaking of better competition, this was not it. This was one of those games where we expected to win, and on 3rd and 1, what was supposed to be a quick play escalated into one of the biggest rushes I had all season. Now fast forward to the 3rd quarter and we're losing. Don't ask me how, but I'll be damned if we lose to a team that hasn't won a game yet. So I get on my high horse and get to running. Second rushing touchdown goes for 23 yards and I'm nowhere close to being done. "20 seconds left in the 3rd and coach calls the option. Defensive player overcommits and I'm going for 12 yards. Right back at it. Next play. It's an outright keeper and I'm back in the end zone. Let's keep it going though. 3 minutes left in the game, coach calls another option and I keep it, find my way 20 yards later back into the end zone. On 3rd and 3, coach calls a passing play, but I'm so locked into running at this point, I'm not even looking downfield, turning in another rushing touchdown, this time for 14 yards. And to be honest, although I had a great game, that was an embarrassing win to say the least. We should have never been down in this game, period. This should have been a beating being handed out by us. It is what it is though. I'm not going to complain. We just need to get it together moving forward. Now this next game against San Diego State was what would become my breakout performance as I'm opening the game with an insane 49-yard scramble, letting State know that I was officially in my coming out party. Pause. No diddy. On 3rd and 1, coach gave me a break and the running back walks into the end zone, putting us on the board officially. Defense gets a stop and we're back on the field running one of my favorite plays. The ball was hella underthrown, but my guy Luke comes down with it and a gain of 42 yards. Very next play, I'm getting shifty again as I roll out to my left, avoiding a huge loss. Instead, I find some room and scramble for 20 yards. Next play, coach calls the option. I keep it and we're back on the scoreboard, putting us up 2 scores. San Diego State scores, but we have an opportunity to put more points on the board before halftime. With 35 seconds left, I move out to my left and find Everett for a 40-yard gain. Hurrying back up to the line, we run the same play, and San Diego doesn't make the adjustments, and this time I hit Everett, and he fights for the score, putting us up 2 scores before half. Back out on the field late in the 3rd, we're looking to dominate. I decide not to hit the wide open man and use him as a blocker instead. As I'm weaving through traffic, I finally get down after gaining 40 yards. Start of the 4th, we're knocking on the door to score, and I move left, buy some time, and throw a dot to Luke for another score. That was a huge win and a huge game for me, passing for 183 yards and rushing for 189 yards with 3 total touchdowns. Now, this UNLV game, Things get a little crazy because this is one of those teams we're expected to beat, but we definitely were struggling earlier on. But on this play, I found my tight end Austin for 17 yards. Next play, I move out to my left and I see a gap in the defense, but Luke comes up from what would have been a turnover and locks in a 44-yard pickup. Y'all know what's next. Option play, 6 yards out. They go for the running back. I keep it and score. Now, I expected the defense to shut down any type of motion UNLV might have had going on, but here we are, tied game. 1st and 10 from the 40-yard line. I'm letting the play develop, moving out right. I see Austin has the lead on his man, so I give him the ball for 26 yards. From the 15, coach calls the triple option, and my options are guarded, so I do what I do best and get into the end zone for another score. Defense gets a stop, and I'm back in my zone as I wait to the last minute and throw another pass to Austin for big yards. 3rd and 4, I see Caden open on a quick release for 8 yards, keeping the drive alive. Next play, I'm not seeing anything right away, so I use my legs to get us another 1st down. Now on 4th and 3, I'm letting coach know I got us. I'm buying some time, waiting for my receivers to get open. I see a small window to Austin, who's quickly becoming my favorite target on the field. Red zone shenanigans. As coach calls the undefeated option, I avoid one tackler and walk into the end zone. UNLV scores, making the game closer than it should be. I'm moving out to my right, breaking what would be a huge loss. My receivers are super covered, so I take what I can, but still moving the chains. And it seems as if this is going to be a trend. UNLV secondary has us covered like hawks, which means I have to take off as I go down for 18 yards on the scramble. 1st and 10 from the 40, I gotta let my receivers get to the open space, fanning out to my left. I find Hunter for a major gain all the way down to the 1-yard line. After some terrible run calls, coach lets me put it in the air on 2nd and goal, and I throw a stinger to Caden, who holds on to the ball for another score. Back on the field, and I want more as the UNLV secondary is strapping up. I'm taking what they give me as I run out of bounds after gaining 28 yards. Next play, my receivers can't get room to breathe again, and I just take what they give me, which is another 1st down. 3rd and 7, coach wanted me to take some time off the clock, but UNLV sends pressure, and I'm off to the races, evading tackles, swerving my way into the end zone to cap off this huge game for me and the team. This game goes down in the history books as I managed to pass for 213 yards and rush for 203 yards and 5 total touchdowns. Now, once I heard those stats, I had to check in on what my total was for the season, and to my surprise, I was about to break the 1,000-yard mark for passing. But what was even more surprising was that I broke into the Heisman race after that performance. And it gets better from there because New Mexico wasn't the caliber of school that would usually see a player on this list. So the national media attention I started to receive was crazy. I mean, I was doing interviews from everywhere. People were really looking me up to do so many interviews. It started to affect my practice. I mean, the pressure of doing well in school, team meetings, interviews, people telling me I needed to get an agent. It was a lot. My main focus was trying to make sure I didn't lose this spot on the Heisman race. But most importantly, I wanted to make sure this season was the best it could be. But if I'm being honest, I have to say the attention for my work was great. I enjoyed it a little too much, but I needed to get back to work because this season was far from over. So boom, next game against Colorado State, they're already up by a score. With my name now being on the Heisman list, there was a huge target on my back, especially coming out of New Mexico. I was on everyone's hit list. Now on 3rd and 18, I take advantage of their over-aggression and scoop for 20 yards, giving us the 1st down. 2nd and 8, I'm not looking to pass. These goofies want to talk. I'm going to give them something to talk about as I march down the field for 26 yards, and I'm not sliding. 2nd and 3 from the 4-yard line. Coach calls the option play, and I'm running over 2 defenders to score our first points. Defense can't stop Colorado State, so it's up to me to lead this team as I throw to a wide open Austin for a 43-yard reception. 2nd and goal, coach wants me to put it up, but I'm not seeing anything, so I roll out to my left, head for the end zone as I break the school rushing touchdown record, as this is my 20th rushing touchdown of the season, and we have a lot more season left to play. Tie game, and these are the games that are going to make me a better player as I find Caleb for 15 yards on 2nd and 4. 4th and 9, I see something I like from the previous play rolling out to my right. I wait for Caleb as he gets more yards after the catch. 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line. It's the Caleb Medford show as he finds an opening and I squeeze a tight pass in for a touchdown, putting us up a score. Defense comes through, gets us great field position, and as the clock runs out on the option play, I embarrass Colorado State player with a spin to put the icing on the game. 186 yards in the air and 72 yards on the ground with the game total with 4 touchdowns is how we win this one. Next game against Boise State, I've already thrown 1 pick, but on 3rd and 7, I'm buying some time and use all my strength, and I throw a perfect pass to my running back Christian for a 52-yard touchdown. Now back on the field, defense holds us down, so now it's my turn. Option play got Boise State lost, and I'm breaking free for a huge rush, putting us right back on the board. My bad defense, I didn't give y'all enough time to rest. I'm just in my zone right now, which would be proven as defense gives up 6. And on 3rd and 2, the option play is good for 16 yards in the first. 4th and 6, coach is letting me gamble as I immediately move left out of the pocket. The player I'm looking for is jammed up, and I take off. It's a foot race all the way to the end zone for 29 yards. So apparently I'm not giving the defense enough of a break because Boise State is scoring repeatedly. 2nd and 10, I air one out to Caden, who comes down with it and scores for a crazy tutty. Defense gets a stop, and now we can sit back and play comfortably as I throw a steamer to Luke for 18 yards. 2nd and 10, I'm not looking to throw, can't lie. The left side of the field is too open, and I'm off to the races. Weaving in and out of traffic, I go off for 40 yards and a tutty. Bad things happen to good people, though. I've thrown some picks in this game, and the score is tied. Because I'm the one that got us into this, I need to be the one to get us out. Rushing for 32 yards to start the drive is not a bad way to do it. 26 seconds left in the game. I'm just looking to get the first and get out of bounds every play. Putting a ball in the air was a little too risky for me considering I've thrown like 3 picks already. And with 4 seconds left to go in the game, kicker comes out and wins the game for us. I threw for 195 yards. Rushed for 245 yards that game. I was super tired from the effort, but I know I was the reason we almost lost this game. And like I said, after that performance, I was super tired. One thing that was becoming an issue with me personally and the media was my age. Now, as you guys know, I spent my technical, quote-unquote, college years serving in the Army. I came in as a 22-year-old freshman. I'm 23 now. My 24th birthday is on the way. When I tell you my body was taking damage, it was taking damage. To my surprise, after that game against Boise State and the amount of times I gave the ball away, I was now at the top of the charts for Heisman. I couldn't believe it. I was in first place, which came with a lot of criticism from the press. And boy, did they have a lot to say.
Let's talk about this kid out of New Mexico that has the Heisman pose in shambles right now. Steven, you go first. You look like you itching to get something off your chest.
First of all, let's call him what he is. And that's a grown man. Now, let's not get this confused with the term of endearment. No, this is pure, unadulterated slander from Stephen A. Smith. You have a 23-year-old man playing up against babies, and it's not fair. He is at least 3 years older than the oldest player on your team and 5 years older than your youngest. What are we talking about? Heisman? He should be winning the Senior Citizen Award. He is currently in his prime at the NFL level, and he's playing college football. Not to mention, he has 1 more year left to play before he's eligible for the NFL. Whoa, what are we talking about? Surely not the Heisman. Now, I'm not one to discriminate on any level, and not for age, surely. But at some point, we have to be real. If we don't talk about it now, then it'll be next season. If he's in the Heisman, talk again. We definitely gonna have to talk about it if he decides to throw his hat in the ring for the NFL draft. And I sure hope he doesn't do that. You know what? At this point, I take it all back. Let him have his time to shine, because there is no future for Corey Shepard at the next level. And he'll be a nice backup for years. Hell, he'll even be a good coach. And I'll close by saying this. Secure your future now with NIL deals. Make your money. Stay all 4 years and call it a day, because there won't be a moment after this. And that's all I have to say about that. But congratulations, brother. You earned it.
It was time for the Mountain West Championship, and we were facing a 10-2 San Jose State team that was ready to dethrone me. But on 2nd and 7, I showed them why I was at the top of the Heisman list and why I was dead set on winning it, going off for 72 yards for a tutty. Defense led San Jose score 9 points, which means we're behind and I need to step it up. 3rd and 7, I find my tight end streaking down the middle of the field for 64 yards, putting us in the red zone. 3rd and goal, I know I need to get into the end zone, so I take off left and find some room to squeeze in to put us back up. Not only that, but I'm breaking Barry Sanders' rushing touchdown record with 38 rushing touchdowns in one season. Nevertheless, the score is 15-15 right now, and we got to get some separation as I run out of bounds after a 23-yard gain. Very next play, as I was about to take off, I see Austin wide open and I throw across my body for another 23-yard gain. Play after that, I'm looking through my rotation and I find Caleb, who steps in front of a defender for a 14-yard gain. Closer to the end zone, coach gives the ball off to our running back who walks into the end zone. Defense allows San Jose to tie the game up again, which gives us the ball for the final drive. I know it's my time. Just like on our first play, Caleb finds himself wide open again, this time for 60 yards, getting stopped short of scoring a huge touchdown. I call the offense back to the line because I know I'm taking off right for the end zone, and that's exactly what I do to put us up a score. Defense holds us down, and looking in the defense's eyes, I can see they tired, and we only need to run the clock out. But the lane that opens up for me, I have to take advantage as I put the nail in the coffin to win this conference championship game. To say I was excited would be an understatement, considering how I came into this job and not getting a full season shot at winning. This was a drastic turnaround for my career and for this team. I finished that game with 274 yards passing and 198 yards on the ground with 4 total touchdowns. Standing there with the coaches and the rest of the team made me proud to know that I carried these guys on my back. We did it together. Needless to say, I was setting the stage for a tough bowl game. But before that, it was time to announce the Heisman winner, and guess who won? That's right, Corey Shepard, sophomore out of New Mexico. Man, who would have thought these words would ever come out of my mouth, or that those words would have been said about me, period. Either way, my excitement was short-lived because now we had a bowl game to prepare for, and the team we have to face was one of them teams. And that team was Oregon. Although they were 6-6 on the season, their players were still high caliber players nonetheless. And on 2nd and 13, I'm doing the exact thing that got us here, rushing for 28 yards to get the team going. 2nd and 7, I'm rolling out left, hitting Jace for an easy 15-yard pickup. Coach calls a triple option on 1st and 10. I keep it, and I finally get stopped after gaining a first down. 1st and goal, offensive line opens a huge hole for the running back, and we strike first in this bowl game. Defense goes out and gets a score, but they also got scored on, putting us up by a score. Now it's time for the offense to go to work. 1st and 10, I march down for a quick 12-yard gain to keep the drive moving. 2nd and 10, I let the play develop before I make a move. I connect with Jace across the middle of the field for 22 yards. Next play, the middle of the field is open again, dotting up Caleb, and the boys are locked in. 2nd and 3rd, coach sends 5 wide, and I'm buying some time. Going through my rotation, I see Austin wide open in the end zone. I zip one there, he holds on to the ball, and we're up 2 scores. 3rd and 6, Oregon can't score on us, but I'm not trying to let up. I make their defense suffer after going for 20 yards. At this point in the game, we're trying to waste as much time as possible, but if we score, we score. I'm rolling out to my left. I find Luke Longley on the right side of the field. I throw a bomb and Luke has to dive for it, but comes down with it for 43 yards. 3rd and goal, I'm about to make the play of the year. As we're 20 yards back, I roll out to my right, weave in and out. No one can touch me, and I put more points on the board. And no, I was not done, because I come out the very next drive. From the 25-yard line, I'm gone. My eyes are dead set on the end zone, and no matter how many guys are around, I'm out of here. Crazy 75-yard touchdown run. Needless to say, that was game. A walk-on, second-year starter leads this New Mexico team to not only a conference win, but a bowl win. Today's game, I threw for 150 yards and ran for 204 yards with 3 total touchdowns. Man, a bowl game victory is a great way to top off my first year as a complete starter for this team. A Heisman win was even better personally. And with everyone in my ear about what I was going to do next season, I had a lot to think about. Do I stay or do I go? Deep down, I felt as if I've proven what I needed to prove here. There are much tougher conferences out there, and because of my age, I felt like I needed to prove I could hang with the talent that was coming out that next season with me. I don't know. It was a lot to think about, but for right now, I'm going to enjoy this offseason as much as possible. Personal note, Ray wasn't really interested in none of that. The rest of his season, he was working on his relationship with his baby moms, who was set to have the baby that summer. And although Ray was overseas for most of the time, he made time to go with his girlfriend to the appointments. He just really wanted to make sure that she was taken care of. And to no one's surprise, she was having twins.